3 episodes left, and From isn't about to give you answers, it's about to take everything away. The renewal for a 5th and final season isn't good news for the survivors of Fromville. It's a death sentence for every theory, every alliance, every fragile hope they've built. Because in serialized horror storytelling, a confirmed final season means one thing. Season 4 isn't the ending, it's the demolition. The show isn't wrapping up, it's burning the building down, so Season 5 can rise from the ash. Let's talk about exactly how that happens. Here's the thing most people miss when they hear Season 5 confirmed. They think, great, answers are coming. Wrong. When a mystery box show like From locks in its final season, the penultimate season has one job. Destroy every safety net, every talisman, every alliance, every hard-won piece of knowledge the survivors have built across 4 seasons. It all has to go. The writers need to walk into Season 5 with a blank, smoking crater. Look at the pattern. Season 1 ends with Boyd finding the talismans. The community goes from hiding to investigating. Season 2 ends with Tabitha falling from the lighthouse. The boundary between Fromville and the outside world cracks. Season 3 ends with Smiley reborn and the man in yellow walking among them. Each season ending doesn't resolve the threat, it escalates it. So Season 4's finale isn't building toward an exit, it's engineering a hard reset. The town is about to strip the survivors of every defense they have, physical, psychological, spiritual, and leave them staring at something far worse than the creatures outside their windows. That is what the final 3 episodes are designed to do. Now, let's get into the lore. Because this is where From stops being a horror show and starts being something almost mythological. Victor found a bag of human teeth inside the man in yellow's old car. That is not a random detail. Nothing in Fromville is random. In this town, teeth are a ledger. Every tooth represents a soul the man in yellow has claimed, cataloged, and owned. He's been running this cycle for decades, maybe longer, and he's been keeping receipts. But here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. Victor is the first survivor. He arrived in the 1970s with his mother Miranda and 2 children, a boy and a girl named Eloise. Only Victor made it out of that massacre. The boy survived, the girl was lost. Now look at Tabitha Matthews. She arrives with 2 children, a boy named Ethan and a girl named Julie. Pause. Let that sit. Miranda Cavanaugh, Victor, Eloise. Tabitha Matthews, Ethan, Julie. The town isn't random. It's repeating. It's running the same trauma cycle on new people. And the structural forces of Fromville are already targeting Julie the way they targeted Eloise decades ago. Ethan's seizures mirror the exact posture of the sacrificed children on the stones. His yellow dominant wardrobe, which no one in the writer's room picked by accident, ties him visually to the man in yellow's domain. And his instinctive, almost supernatural understanding of the town's rules, Victor recognizes it. That's why he's teaching Ethan how to survive alone. Because Victor has seen this movie before, and he knows how it ends. Ethan isn't just a character. He's the next guardian, the heir to Victor's lonely, terrifying knowledge. This is where it gets explosive. The young woman who arrived by car crash at the start of Season 4. Sympathetic, vulnerable, dangerous. She is the man in yellow, wearing human skin, walking openly through Colony House, exploiting every crack in the community's psychology. And her most devastating move? Episode 6. She gets to Henry, Victor's father, while he's already drowning in grief. She trick-feeds him her blood, and the moment it enters his system, Henry starts experiencing vivid, inescapable hallucinations. He sees himself in a hospital bed, Victor sitting beside him. He becomes absolutely convinced that Fromville isn't real, that it's a coma dream, and death is the only way to wake up. Sound familiar? It should. That's exactly what happened to Boyd's wife Abby. She heard the voices. She believed the town was a dream. She opened fire on her own neighbors. The man in yellow has a playbook, and he runs it on the most emotionally vulnerable person in the room every single time. But Henry's path isn't violence, it's self-destruction. He is being guided, step by step, toward the roof of Colony House. And here's the real cruelty of it. Victor has spent decades as the town's living memory. He is the only person who was there at the beginning. If Henry dies in front of him, that fragile psychological resilience shatters. The town loses its historian, and the man in yellow wins without ever lifting a finger. Now, the bottle tree. The residents of Fromville believe the bottle tree is part of their prison, a symbol of the town's power over them. And when things fall apart, when fear turns into rage, someone is going to chop it down. That is the worst thing they could possibly do. Because the bottle tree isn't a prison wall, a structural seal between the human survivors and something ancient, something formless, something that makes the nighttime creatures look like warm-up acts. The humans of Fromville are not the victims of the town's decorations. They're the victims of their own ignorance about what those decorations actually do. That line right there, that is the tragedy of this entire show. The talismans, the trees, the symbols, they were never keeping the people trapped. They were keeping something else from getting out. 3 episodes, 3 dominoes. Episode 8, Heavy as the Head, June 14th. Boyd is deteriorating, but he's still pushing his plan to enter the underground tunnels and retrieve the sacrificed children's bones. He believes burning those bones breaks the cycle. While Boyd fights to hold his authority together, Henry's delusion peaks. He climbs to the roof of Colony House, convinced that falling will wake him up. Boyd gets there. Victor gets there. Neither of them can stop it. Henry jumps. Victor watches his father die, believing a lie the man in yellow whispered into his blood. Episode 9, The Calm Before, June 21st. With the town in mourning, Sophia accelerates the chaos. She turns the grief into accusation, pointing at Jade and Tabitha, calling their reincarnation theories the source of everything that's gone wrong. A faction forms. A witch hunt starts. Meanwhile, Julie figures out why her story-walking bookmark failed. Generic paper doesn't work, but the personal belongings of dead residents, saturated with their emotional trauma, tied to their specific moment of death, those are perfect anchors. She takes Jim's bracelet and she goes back. Not just to the 1970s massacre. Further, she witnesses the origin of the man in yellow himself, and she realizes he wasn't always a monster. He was chosen, corrupted. He is himself a prisoner of something older and deeper than anything they've faced. Episode 10, If a Tree Falls in the Forest, June 28th. Boyd leads the tunnel mission. Fatima comes with him, using her psychic maternal link to Smiley to navigate past the sleeping creatures. But Sophia is watching through that exact same channel. Boyd reaches the chamber of the sacrificed children's bones. And Julie comes back from her story walk, screaming. Because she knows the truth now. Miranda, Christopher, the original residents, they didn't sacrifice those children to escape. They sacrificed them to bind the ancient evil beneath the town. The bones aren't keeping the residents trapped. The bones are the lock on something catastrophic. If Boyd burns them, he doesn't free the town. He opens the cage. The finale climax hits in 3 brutal waves. Sophia is unmasked as the man in yellow in front of the entire community. But it's too late. A desperate group of residents, finally snapping, chops down the bottle tree. The physical anchor between Fromville and reality is severed, and deep in the tunnels, the seal is compromised. Season 4 ends with the boundary gone, the bottle tree down, an ancient formless evil pushing against a lock that no longer fully holds, and a group of survivors who just destroyed every defense they had with their own hands. So here's what I want you to sit with. Every single answer the characters found this season, the bones, the tree, the talismans, turned out to be a defense mechanism they were about to destroy. What does that say about the final season? If the seal is broken and the bottle tree is gone, What exactly is Season 5 trying to contain? And here's the darker question. Is the man in yellow the real villain, or just the first guard of something that was never meant to be seen? I read every single one. If this breakdown hit different, subscribe to Drama Crypt. We go this deep on every episode, every season, every thread the show thinks you won't catch. We catch them all.